She banned me from her wedding because I told her he'd leave her. Have you ever been punished for being the only one in the family who sees reality for what it is? Not for being mean, not for lying, just for saying what everyone else was too scared or too deluded to admit. Because that's what happened to me. My younger sister Jessica? She banned me from her wedding because I told her straight to her face that the guy she was marrying was a total fraud, a walking red flag and designer knockoffs. I told her, and I quote, "You're going to regret marrying this guy before your 1-year anniversary." She cried. She screamed. She accused me of being jealous, bitter, emotionally unavailable, and a whole list of things she probably saw on a TikTok about toxic siblings. She even said I never wanted her to be happy, all because I told her the truth. And now? Now she's back at our mom's house, crying in to throw pillows and asking for someone, anyone, to cover her rent because her visionary podcasting husband ghosted her 8 months after the wedding and took her Xbox on the way out. Guess who they called? Before we go further, don't forget to like this story, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss what happens next. Let me give you some context. I'm Dan. I'm the oldest of 2. I've always been the responsible one, the stable one, the one who doesn't panic when the Wi-Fi cuts out or cry when someone says no. Jessica? She's the baby. She could have set the kitchen on fire, and our parents would have blamed the stove. So 2 years ago, she meets this guy Kyle. From the jump, I knew. No job, no ambition, consultant with 0 clients. Constantly posting vague hustle stories on Instagram about changing the narrative and breaking cycles, yet couldn't afford gas half the time. One time, I literally watched him Venmo request Jess for $60 because he forgot his wallet after borrowing her car and maxing her credit card on limited edition sneakers. But sure, he was a visionary. I called it early. Told her, this guy's not a builder, he's a barnacle. He clings, drains, and then bails when the boat starts to sink. Her response? She cried. Again. Said I was trying to ruin the happiest time of her life. Told our mom I was bullying her. Said I was just bitter because she found love before me. Funny, considering I'd been with the same woman for 6 solid years and we actually like each other. But here's the kicker. After the argument, after the screaming, she went full nuclear. If you can't be happy for me, don't bother showing up at my wedding. So I didn't. I stayed home. Watched a movie with my girlfriend. Let them have their little royal affair without me. The pictures were ridiculous. Instagram filters. Flower crowns. Jess in a 3,000 dress. Kyle in rent-a designer. Hashtags like soulmates and built not bought. And Kyle? Still unemployed. Still working on his podcast. Still mooching off my sister. But hey, who was I to ruin the dream? Fast forward 8 months. I get a text from my mom. Jess is going through something really hard. Can you come over? I already knew. Didn't need to ask. I walked into the house and there she was curled up on the couch, makeup smeared, sobbing into her sweatshirt while the dog whined at her feet. Kyle? Gone. Took his gaming console. Blocked her number. Didn't even leave a note. Turns out he cheated with someone from his business circle, whatever that means, and ghosted her like it was a Tuesday afternoon. Want to know the first thing my mom says when we get back from taking Jess out for ice cream? I think it would really show maturity if you offered to help her with the rent for a few months. Excuse me? This woman, who banned me from the wedding for telling the truth, now needs me to bail her out because the exact thing I warned her about happened? Nah. Nope. Absolutely not. Just hasn't worked in over a month. She's behind on rent because Kyle spent her savings on startup gear. And now, because I'm the responsible one, because I didn't marry a red flag Tinder philosopher, I'm expected to open my wallet and pretend none of that ever happened? No. I told my mom flat out, I'm not rewarding stupidity just because it's crying now. She didn't like that. Said I was being cold. Said family helps family. Said I was being selfish. But let me be clear. I did help her. I gave her my advice. I told her the truth. She spit in my face, kicked me out of her life, and now wants a refund? No. Actions have consequences. Especially the ones you brag about on social media. Want to hear the best part? I posted something on Facebook. Just a quick sentence. Funny how being honest makes you the villain. Until the lies fall apart. Then everyone wants your help. The family chat exploded. My mom called me dramatic. Said I was airing dirty laundry. My aunt messaged me saying I should be the bigger person. But you know what? I'm done being the designated firefighter in a family that keeps setting its own house on fire. They wanted to play pretend. They wanted to clap as the Titanic hit the iceberg. Well, I brought a life jacket. They can sink without me. You'd think after ghosting me for most of a year and banning me from her wedding, Jessica would have maybe, learned a little humility. But no. A week after Kyle dished her like a bad subscription plan, I got a knock at the door. There she was. My sister. Sweatpants, messy bun, eyes puffy like she'd been crying since Tuesday, which, honestly, she probably had. And in her hand? A duffel bag. I didn't open the screen door. What are you doing here, Jess? She sighed like I was being dramatic. I didn't know where else to go. I tilted my head. Mom's house is 3 blocks away. She's being judgmental. So naturally, you came to me, the guy you kicked out of your life last year for being too honest? Silence. Then she did what she always does when she's in the wrong, the wounded, soft voice. I just thought, maybe we could talk. I really need a reset. There it was. Reset. That magical word people like Jessica throw around when what they actually mean is, I don't want to deal with consequences, so can I just crash at your place until someone else fixes my life? I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. She looked surprised. You can't even let me in for 5 minutes? If I let you in for 5 minutes, you'll be here 5 months. Don't play me. She looked like she wanted to cry again, but she didn't. Credit for that. I don't have a job right now. I had to leave the apartment. Rent's due. Kyle's gone. Everyone's treating me like I'm some joke. I nodded slowly. You treated me like a joke when I warned you. Now I'm supposed to forget that because it's raining on you. So you're just going to be cruel? When I'm already at my lowest. That word, cruel, it hit weird. Because I remember being called cruel when I told her Kyle was broke and selfish. I was cruel when I told our mom that enabling Jessica wasn't the same as loving her. I was cruel when I stayed home on her wedding day because I wouldn't clap for a disaster in the making. Cruel became the word she used every time I didn't lie for her. So yeah, it hit weird. But it didn't make me open the door. I'm not being cruel, I told her. I'm being consistent. You made it clear I wasn't part of your life anymore. I'm just respecting that now. She got quiet. Her voice changed. Cold. Cutting. You think being right makes you better than everyone. No. But it does make me harder to manipulate. She turned. Walked away. No tears this time. No begging. Just silence. And a duffel bag dragging across the sidewalk. Later that night, our mom called. Surprise. You turned your own sister away? She's not my stray cat. She was desperate. So were we all, at some point. I got out by making hard choices, not by crying on someone's porch. She didn't like that. Told me I was heartless. Said I'd regret it. And maybe in another life, I would have. But not this one. Because here's the thing. This wasn't about rent. This wasn't about shelter. This was about rewriting the past. Jessica didn't want safety. She wanted an eraser. She wanted to pretend none of it ever happened. That she didn't choose Kyle over me. That she didn't blast me to the whole family. That she didn't call me cruel for doing exactly what she now wished someone else had done. And the worst part? It almost worked. That look on her face, it hit something in me. But then I remembered what it cost me to walk away the first time. And I wasn't about to go back into that burning house just because the person holding the matches was now asking for a glass of water. 2 days later, she texted me. Just one line. You'll always think you're better than me. That's the real issue. I stared at the screen for a long minute. Then I wrote back. No, Jess. I just stopped pretending we're the same. Let me start by saying this. I'm all for therapy. I think everyone should go. Especially if your coping mechanism is posting fake deep Instagram quotes while financially spiraling in your ex-boyfriend's hoodie. But what I don't support, being guilt-tripped into paying for the therapy of someone who weaponized tears, trashed my name, and called me cruel just because I told her the truth. So when my mom called again and brought it up, yeah, I lost it. It started simple. I was at work, eating lunch in my car, scrolling through emails when I saw her name pop up. Mom. Hey, honey, you got a second? Always a trap. Yeah. What's up? So, I talked to Jessica's new counselor. It's going well. She's opening up. Finally confronting some stuff. Good for her. Right. So, the therapist doesn't take insurance. There it was. I could feel the ask coming down the line like a slow-moving freight train. And with Jessica still getting back on her feet, I was hoping maybe you could help cover a few sessions. Just until she finds a job. I actually laughed. Out loud. Alone in my car. Mom. No. Daniel, don't be like this. You know how much she's been through. I know exactly how much she's been through. I also know how much she's put others through. Including me. My mom sighed. Her classic move. The disappointed exhale. The sound that always came before a long guilt monologue about family, forgiveness, and being the bigger person. And sure enough, I just think it would show a lot of maturity and healing if you extended some grace. She's your sister. I nearly choked on my coffee. She's my sister the way Kyle was a visionary entrepreneur. Which is to say, only in theory. Daniel, no, let me ask you something, Mom. When just cut me off for being honest, Where was the grace? When she told people I was toxic, when she banned me from her wedding, when she showed up on my doorstep with a duffel bag and no apology, did she show maturity? Silence. I'm not paying for someone to process trauma they created. It's not about blame. Yes, it is. You don't get to burn the house down and then hand me the invoice for fire damage. She tried the old "you're doing well" angle. You're financially stable. You've got your own place. No kids. You can afford it. That's exactly why I won't. I worked for that. I protected my peace. I didn't sell out my self-respect for a wedding hashtag. So you're punishing her? No. I'm protecting me. Then I hung up. Politely, but firmly. And 5 minutes later, I had an idea. A brilliant, petty, necessary idea. That night, I pulled out my receipts, literal and emotional. Pulled up the invoice from my therapist. From the 6 months of sessions I needed after being gaslit, blamed, and emotionally tossed aside by my family for saying what needed to be said. I sent it to my mom. Subject line, since we're talking therapy bills. In the body, I wrote, if we're covering therapy now, here's mine. I only went because your daughter tried to rewrite reality and you let her. Balance due, $2,940. She didn't reply. Not right away. Not for 3 days. When she did, it was a single sentence. You've changed. Damn right I have. Because old me? Old me would have paid it. Would have written a quiet check and told myself it was for the greater good. Would have buried the resentment, let the wound fester, smiled through clenched teeth at Thanksgiving. But not anymore. Not since I realized that being the bigger person always left me carrying the baggage. And just when I thought that would be the end of it, Jessica herself texted me. Long paragraph. Rambling. Defensive. Half apology, half guilt trip. I didn't ask Mom to call you. She just thought it might help. I'm trying, okay? I'm going to therapy. I'm working on my issues. But you act like I haven't suffered too. I stared at it for a while. Then I replied, I'm glad you're getting help. But your healing isn't my responsibility. We all suffer. What matters is what we do next. She didn't write back. And for the first time in years, that felt okay. I've learned something through all this. Something therapy helped me figure out, actually. Guilt is a leash. And the people who used it on me? They never loved me freely. They loved what I could do for them. Once I stopped performing, the applause stopped too. But I'm not on stage anymore. I'm not the hero. I'm not the villain. I'm just done playing a part in someone else's fantasy. A month of silence. That's how long it lasted after I sent my mom the invoice for my own therapy. No texts. No guilt. No updates about Jessica or her failed job interviews or whether she'd finally stopped crying about Kyle. Just silence. And it was beautiful. Until it wasn't. Saturday morning. I'm making pancakes, halfway through a coffee I didn't have to reheat yet, when my phone buzzes. It's a group text. Family meeting. Tomorrow. 3 p.m. At Mom's. Please be there. For my aunt, no less. Not even my mom. Not Jessica. Not my dad. My aunt. Which was already shady, because this woman can't organize her spice rack without drama, let alone a family meeting without some backroom whispers. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, my mom texts separately, please come. We just want to talk. I should have said no. I should have ignored it and gone on with my day. But some sick part of me wanted to see what kind of performance they were preparing. So I said yes. And then I started preparing my own. Sunday, 3 p.m. I pull up to the same house I grew up in. The same driveway where I used to shoot hoops. The same porch where Jessica once told me I was her favorite person in the world, before she learned how to weaponize tears and cut people off with emotional scissors. Inside, the entire family. Mom, Dad, Jessica, my aunt, one of her cousins. Even Uncle Jerry, who only comes around when someone's either dying or divorcing. Red Flag City. Mom starts first. We wanted to create a safe space today. For honesty. For healing. For moving forward as a family. Translation. We want you to apologize, and we're gonna make it sound like therapy. Jessica's sitting across from me, arms folded, hair brushed for once. I can already see it in her eyes. She's rehearsed this. Probably in the mirror. Aunt steps in. Daniel, we've noticed that you've been distant. Emotionally closed off. Maybe even resentful. Emotionally closed off? I repeat. Is that the new phrase for not paying for someone else's mess? My mom sighs. Dad rubs his temples. It's going just how I expected. Jessica finally speaks. I've been trying. I've been doing the work. But every time I try to reach out, you shut me down. It's like you enjoy being mad. I almost laughed. I'm not mad, Jess. I'm done. There's a difference. Done with what? Your own family. Done playing villain in a story you wrote to protect yourself from accountability. That hit. I saw it. She blinked. Then Mom chimed in, voice soft like I was 5 again. This isn't about blame. This is about coming back together. I pulled out a folder, dropped it on the coffee table. Everyone stared. What's that? My dad asked. Receipts. For what? Everything you all conveniently forgot. I opened it. Slowly. One by one. Printed screenshots of Jessica's texts where she trashed me to the family group chat for not coming to her wedding. DM she sent to my ex accusing me of being emotionally manipulative. The email she sent to my boss. Yes, my actual boss, implying I was mentally unstable after I refused to give her money. And then, I pulled out the printed invoice from my therapist, laid it down, looked directly at my mom. Since we're talking about healing, let's talk about who needed it and why. The silence was delicious. Jessica's jaw locked. Aunt looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor. Uncle Jerry cleared his throat and muttered something about needing to feed his dog. Dad opened his mouth, then closed it. And then Mom? She cried. Not full sobs. Just that teary, dramatic, "You've wounded me" look she uses when she doesn't want to be the bad guy but feels like one. I didn't know it got that bad, she whispered. You didn't want to know. We just thought. If we kept the peace, you didn't keep peace. You created silence. You picked comfort over truth and let me carry the fallout. I stood up. I didn't come here for an apology. I came to give you this, so that the next time someone tries to rewrite history, you have the full script. Then I looked at Jessica. I hope therapy helps you. I really do. But this narrative you're spinning, where I'm the cold, bitter brother, and you're the victim of my emotional cruelty, it's fiction, and I'm done being cast in it. I walked out. Didn't slam the door. Didn't throw a dramatic goodbye. Just left. And for the first time in months, I felt light. Because there's power in truth. But there's freedom in finally dropping the rope when someone keeps playing tug-of-war with your sanity. You know what's worse than being painted as the villain in your own family? Being turned into content. Because just when I thought things had finally settled, after the fake intervention, after the folder of receipts I laid out like the final round in a poker game, Jessica found a new way to twist the knife. She made me into a story. A viral one. It started with a DM from a friend of mine. Someone I went to college with. We barely talk, so when she messaged me out of the blue, I knew something was up. Hey, this might be random, but is this story about you? She sent a TikTok link. The username? Healing with Jess. I clicked it, thinking maybe it was some motivational thing she reposted. Maybe therapy was finally working and she'd found a less destructive outlet. Nope. It was a full-blown storytime video. Black and white filter. Sad piano music. Her sitting in a hoodie, messy bun, eyes glassy, looking like she was auditioning for a Hallmark drama. And the caption? When your own brother cuts you off during the worst time of your life. I watched it twice. Once out of shock. Once because I couldn't believe she had the audacity. The story went like this. She was vulnerable. She was healing. She was going through deep emotional trauma from a relationship built on manipulation. Her family was fractured. But worst of all, her brother had turned cold. Cruel. Abandoning her when she needed him most. Calling her names. Mocking her pain. Refusing to even let her in the house. And of course, she never used my name. That was the smartest part. She just called me my brother, which technically kept her safe from direct defamation, but not from the truth. The comments section? A mess. People sympathizing with her, calling her brother heartless, telling her she was better off without toxic family. One girl wrote, I feel this so hard. My brother literally left me homeless too. Stay strong, queen. Another said, I hope you go no contact. Your healing journey matters more than their egos. And Jessica? She liked every single one. Now let me be clear, I didn't care about strangers on the internet. I don't live for likes, and I don't explain myself to strangers with usernames like MooHealer333. But this was different. Because our family saw it too. And suddenly, my aunt was calling me. Again. Did you see the video? Yeah, I saw it. Look, I know she's emotional, but maybe just reach out. No, Daniel, she's hurting. She's posting fake trauma for clout. That's not healing. That's performance art. So I called a friend of mine. Trina. Corporate lawyer. Sharp as hell. No time for fluff. I sent her the video and said, she's using this to attack me without naming me. My job's getting emails. My friends are asking questions. This is starting to hurt my life now. She called me an hour later. We're sending her a cease and desist. The next day, I had the email draft in my inbox. Professional. Direct. Legally airtight. Subject. Defamatory content and harassment warning. It didn't threaten to sue. It didn't scream. It simply laid out the truth. That her statements were harmful. That they could be considered targeted harassment. That continued defamation could lead to legal consequences. even if she never used my name. Because intention still counts. I sent it. 3 hours later, I got a text. You really lawyered up on your sister? No greeting. No apology. Just that. I didn't answer. So she followed up. You think a letter scares me? You think trying to silence me will make people forget how you treated me? And that's when I realized she was never going to stop. Because it wasn't about healing. It was about control. Even when she played the victim, she needed to control the narrative. If she wasn't the center of the story, crying, suffering, misunderstood, then she didn't know who she was. But I did. I knew exactly who she was. She was the same girl who used to fake fainting spells in middle school when she didn't study for a test. The same sister who cried when she didn't get her way, then smiled the second someone gave in. Only now, she had a ring light. I could have posted my own video. I could have shared screenshots, voice messages, proof of everything she conveniently left out. But I didn't, because I don't perform for crowds. I don't need the internet to tell me I'm right. I just need peace. 2 days after she got the cease and desist, the video disappeared. No explanation. No apology. Just gone. But the comments? Still there. Still trashing me. Still echoing her side of the story. And honestly, let them. Let her keep the audience. I kept my boundaries. That week, I made a decision. I blocked her number. Removed her from every shared family chat. Told my parents that if they wanted to maintain a relationship with me, they'd respect the line I'd drawn. No contact. No updates. No, she's changed speeches. It wasn't revenge. It was survival. Because healing isn't always soft. Sometimes it looks like saying, you don't get to use me anymore. Not for attention. Not for guilt. Not for rent. Sometimes healing is harsh. Unapologetic. And sometimes, healing comes in the form of a certified legal letter. Let me just say this up front. I didn't want drama at my wedding. After everything that went down, being branded the villain, the cease and desist, Jessica's viral "my brother ruined my life" story, I wanted a clean day. A moment that wasn't about damage control. A memory not tainted by family chaos. Just me, my wife, a little music, a lot of love. But of course, Jessica couldn't let that happen. We kept it small. Only close friends. No extended family. My parents weren't invited, not because I hate them, but because I wasn't going to play that you can come if you promise not to bring Jessica game. It wasn't worth the risk. We chose a small venue outside Portland. Rustic, modern, perfect. My wife, God bless her, wanted zero stress. We agreed on one rule, no surprises. And for the first 3 hours, it went exactly like I dreamed. The ceremony? Perfect. She looked like magic in that dress. I couldn't stop smiling. Even the speeches were shockingly good. No awkward jokes. No exes mentioned. No one got drunk before the toasts. Then, right around sunset, while we were finishing photos near the edge of the property, one of our friends came jogging up. Dan, someone just showed up. Who? She says she's your sister. I swear my stomach turned to ice. I hadn't seen Jessica in over 6 months. After the TikTok saga, after the legal warning, after cutting contact, I figured that was it. She was gone. Done. But apparently, she still needed a stage. She was standing near the reception tent. Alone. Wearing a soft pink dress like she'd coordinated with the bridal party. Hair curled. Makeup perfect. I approached. She turned, smiled. Hey. Like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't gone full internet martyr for months. Like we were two strangers running into each other at a coffee shop. What are you doing here? I asked, calm but tight. I just wanted to see you. To say congrats. You weren't invited. She looked down, then back at me. I know. But it felt wrong. Not to come. I was stunned. Not even mad, just baffled at the audacity. Then, my wife walked over and handled it better than I ever could have. She looked Jessica dead in the eye, not unkind, just steady. Jessica, today's not about healing or reconnection or family drama. Today's about love and boundaries. Jessica blinked. I didn't come to cause trouble, I'm sure, but this is our wedding, and you weren't invited. That was intentional. There was no venom in her tone, just certainty. Like a velvet hammer. Then she added, you need to leave. Right now. Or security will walk you out. I half expected a meltdown. But Jessica just stood there. Frozen. And for a second, I saw it. Maybe for the first time. The moment it clicked that she'd run out of control. That the story she kept trying to shape had officially ended. She turned. Walked away. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't cause a scene. Just left. I exhaled so hard it felt like I was purging years of tension. My wife slipped her hand into mine. Still want cake? God, yes. And that was it. No yelling. No drama. Just a clean exit. A closed chapter. It's been a year since that day. No texts, no pop-ups, no TikToks. Last I heard, she moved in with someone new. Different guy, same pattern. I wish him luck. I don't hate her. I don't root against her. But I also don't pretend we're something we're not anymore. Because closure isn't always a conversation. Sometimes, it's a door that stays closed. And a wedding photo without a single stain on it. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it too.